Well, I've been growing a lot of my beautiful houseplants outside all summer long, but we've made it into autumn here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. The nights are starting to dip a little bit cooler, so it's time to start thinking about bringing them back inside our home for the colder months. So in this video, I'm going to go through a few main tips on how to successfully bring your houseplants that have been outdoors back inside. Now, I've been growing things like monsteras and anthuriums, my orchids, my succulents outside for the last few months. And the first thing that we really need to think about is what temperature should we be on the lookout before bringing them back indoors. And really the main threshold, if you want one baseline, that would be 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So when your nights start dipping below that 45 degree Fahrenheit situation, that means we want to be bringing our plants indoors. But you want to be proactively doing these next few steps about the 7 to 10 days before that threshold gets met. So just look on your phone, your weather application to see what those nighttime temperatures are reaching down into. And here in my zone, I have about 10 days before I hit that 45 degree threshold. So this is going to be the perfect time to start preparing my plants to bring them back inside. Now here at my home, I grow my houseplants in a few different locations. Where I was just situated, that's on my front porch. It's covered. It doesn't get any potential precipitation. So the first thing that we really need to be aware of is we need to get our plants into an area that's going to be covered for about 7 to 10 days so that they're not going to receive any precipitation before bringing them inside. The worst thing that we can do is have houseplants that are extremely saturated with moisture, that we bring them indoors where it's going to be cooler, there's no potential evaporation that naturally occurs. They're going to end up staying wet far too long. What happens is that can easily encourage things like mold, things like gnats, or even root rot in a very bad instance. So if you have plants that are in zones where you can get that precipitation like I do back here on my deck, where I have my desert rose, I have my jasmine, I have some amaryllis, my bananas. What you want to do is you want to take those plants and put them in a covered area. It could be, if you have something like I have, or even a garage, it's going to be fine. It doesn't matter if it's not getting any light for the next 7 to 10 days. Somewhere where they're not going to be able to get any rain and that they're allowed to dry out naturally before bringing them in. So if you don't have an outdoor covered area like I do, as I mentioned, an unheated garage is perfect, a shed. You can even, if you have some eaves on your home that will help to protect it from precipitation, just put your plants really close up against the wall of your homes, and that can also really do a good job at keeping that rain out. Case in point, this epiphyllum, while it's outside, it's fine to have this rather moist soil, but the worst thing that I could do is to bring that plant moist like that inside the home. It would be very unhappy. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the pest, which is what everyone's biggest concern is. So you're going to want to get yourself a bottle of insecticidal soap, something like this. You can find a link to this down in the description below. This is what I use for all of my potential pest issues. Now, as we wait these next 7 to 10 days for our houseplants to totally dry out before bringing them inside, what we're going to do first, we're just going to do a general perusal of the plants, looking for any large spiders, which, you know, if you bring them inside, I'm sure you have spiders inside your house already. It's not going to be a problem. But then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to be using our insecticidal soap every day for about a week on the front and the backs of all of the foliage of our house plants, and that is going to eliminate any potential pests that we might be bringing inside. The good thing about this insecticidal soap is that it's totally organic, totally safe. There's no chemicals or no weird pesticides on it. This is absolutely safe to use if you have kids, you know, pets, anything. So this is why I always like to use it. We have a little 2-month-old baby now, so definitely even more important to me. And to use it, it's really just as simple as putting a nice layer on the front and on the back. And many times pests will like to be along the veins or right where the leaf meets the stem. So definitely be on the lookout in those areas of your plants. And I will do that every day for the next 7 days. But the good thing is that when we're growing our house plants outside in the summertime, that really allows our plants to grow very vigorously, very healthily. And the best way to keep pests off of our plants is to have healthy plants. Pests always target plants that are not at their optimal health because it's the easiest for them to gain access into the plant. So the most likely situation is that your plants will probably be pest free if you've been growing them outside and they look stunning and they exploded with growth over the summer months. So I'm really not going to be concerned, but I will use it just as an extra safety method. I have another 100 houseplants inside. The last thing I want to do is bring pests in with me. But with that, now you know the absolute easiest way to safely bring our houseplants back indoors that have been enjoying the summertime outside. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to our channel. We have hundreds and hundreds of videos all about growing plants, both inside and outside. Anyways, thanks for joining me here on Plant Vibrations. I'll catch you next time. Ciao.